Hi, everybody. Phil Rigdon here, pastor at St. John Lutheran Church and School, with another devotion for you today. We're going to start off with a verse here from Pass It On. This is a song that you may have sung around a campfire or perhaps at devotion or youth retreat. So we're going to start off with this first verse. It only takes a spark to get a fire going, and soon all those around can warm up in its glowing. That's how it is with God's love. Once you've experienced it, you spread His love to everyone. You want to pass it on. All right, let's take a look today at a passage here. I've got to set my guitar down, and we're going to open that right up. It's a chunk today from Judges, and we're going to see, of course, where does that connect here for the gospel of Jesus Christ. So let's open that up. All right, and we'll open that up nice and big and get my face out of the way. You can probably guess where we're going here with this picture here, that Samson and Delilah. This is from Judges 16. And Samson grasped the two middle pillars on which the house rested, and he leaned his weight against them, his right hand on the one and his left on the other. All right, so what happens eventually? Samson gets his eyes destroyed, gouged out, as it said, and he's not able to see. He is pressed into service and humiliated. And then, of course, what happens? We know that he is standing between the two pillars amidst the Philistines, and he pushes the pillars down, and everybody is destroyed. All right, this image there, of course, very dramatic, an illustration. The camera hadn't been invented yet. So verse 30. And Samson said, "Let me die with the Philistines." Then he bowed with all his strength, and the house fell upon the Lord, and upon the lords, and upon all the people who were in it. So the dead whom were killed at his death were more than those whom he had killed during his life. All right, so a couple of things that we want to get out of this, and we're going to connect it here to Jesus Christ. Notice that in this image, Samson was a judge, and the Philistines were pagans. They were wicked pagans, idol worshipers, and they were always creating problems for the people of Israel. And so here comes Samson, as he is a judge. In other words, he's one who comes to help and support, and sometimes to correct the people of Israel. And so he is protecting them when this happens here, that by the Lord's strength, he is able to bring this house down upon the Philistines and destroy them. So there's the sense of God giving this strength to him to carry out his purpose of protecting the people of Israel here. All right. There's a couple of things we really want to avoid getting out of this, and probably the main one is to connect this with some sort of God is going to help me fix my problems kind of a teaching, right? Now, God does help us with the challenges in our life, but we don't want to look at those pillars and say, those are the difficult parts of my life, and the Lord is going to take care of those for me. That's not necessarily a wrong interpretation, but it's not the central interpretation. What we want to get out of there is we see Samson with his arms spread out, and how the Lord has forgiven him, and now he is here to bring about this destruction of the pagans and to protect the people of Israel. All right, and so he spreads out his arms, and in the process of it all, he dies. All right, so you might be able to guess where we're going here. This, of course, is a connection here to Jesus Christ. And you can see the image there, the connection where Samson has his arms spread out and he brings this destruction of the enemies. Mark 15, and with him they crucified two robbers, one on his right and one on his left. All right, so where Samson is using the strength that God has given him to crush the Philistines and to protect the people of Israel, in an act of self-sacrifice, here is Jesus, and he is dying on the cross to protect us from our sins, to put an end to death, to put an end to our sins. And he does that. How? At his own expense. Just the same way that this house comes down upon Samson, the power of sin, the burden of sin comes down on Jesus, and he takes care of it. Don't make too much of the fact that there are two robbers and two pillars, and so the pillars are the robbers. That's not really the point. It's more an image. Like we see in the Old Testament all the time, that the Old Testament is pointing to Jesus, and this issue of Samson and the posture, the stance of his body here, and then of course that points us to Jesus. All right, so some good stuff for today. What the main issue of this always is that Christ has died on the cross, and he has put an end to your sin and to my sin at his own expense, and that is our greatest comfort. All right, a couple of things to share here as well as we do. Here we go, and we'll open that up. And please join us for worship on these locations, Devotions Bible Studies. And please be aware that we will start worship again this Thursday at 7 p.m. Look for information about that on eBlasts and give us a call about that. If you're not getting our emails, please reach out and let us know your email so that we can send this to you as well. As always, God's blessings to you until we meet again. Take care.